Yo, it's me, Dumb. Okay, the earned income illusion. Okay, rich versus wealthy. Okay, we're gonna say it for what it is. People ask questions. This is probably like one of the most common questions if maybe you're getting to know someone or just who knows when you, especially when you're growing up. If you're a youngin', probably not concerning you, but as I get older, as you get older, your 20s, 30s, 40s, people ask or whatever they like. A lot of the specified questions, especially on like loans or things of that nature, is how much do you make a year? Okay, for example, and you might be thinking earned income is important. Yeah, it's important, right? But there's a difference between earned income and net worth. Okay, earned income is what you make in a year. Your net worth is what you own. So all your assets, your properties, your investments, how much you have in a savings, all that income basically, right? And then minus your liabilities, minus how much debt you have, minus how much like your auto loan, like your mortgage, like all that stuff. Okay? And this is just a myth. It's just a common myth about that you think you'd rather make $100,000 than someone who's making $50,000. And it's just, if you're making 100,000, let's just say for example, if you're a 100K earner and you have an 80K truck, right? You have a $20,000 net worth. You're literally broke. You're poor. You're poor because your net worth, because that truck, if it's not making you money or using it in that way and you just have it, and even if it is making you money, it's still $80,000. You're still $80,000 in the hole. You know what I mean? So your net worth is $20,000. You're way below someone who has $50,000. So if I were to make $50K a year, but have like an 80% savings rate, that's $40,000 of that. $40,000 of that 50,000. 80% savings rate is insane, I know, but that's just, it doesn't even need to be 80%. It can be way less than that, especially if you don't have debt. This is why having no debt is absolutely game changing. Absolutely game changing, because if you have no debt, your earned income is gonna just go through the roof. You can put all that money into assets, into ownership, into so much other things that can make you money over time. Over time. And this is just the myth. Like this person over here with 100,000 income is driving around this nice big truck, and you think they got it right. You think they have a job, or you think they have a great job, and you're like, they got it going on for themselves. And then you see this person like me, $50,000 earned income a year, driving my little beat up car. I look behaviorally broke. I look broke. I look normal, little body game, all right? But you don't see everything behind. This is stealth wealth. You don't see everything in my phone. You don't see the portfolio. You don't see what I own. You don't see any of that. And so there's this illusion in America that people who got it going on the outside, their house, they're rich. They're not rich. They're drowning in debt. They probably don't even got emergency funds. They're probably check to check. They got this illusion. And if you're watching this, you're still in that consumer mindset. No, because if they lose their job, if whatever happens to them, and if they're not prepared, they're low-key screwed. And God forbid that happens to them, but that's just literally, they're trapped. They're stuck to a job. Maybe they don't hate it because it pays a lot. That's the whole point why they got that truck anyway. But no, they can't do anything else with their life at all. And maybe that truck makes them happy, but it's just whatever values you have. I'd rather have my life force. I only have one life. And it's just, I'm going to tie my life to a car, to a truck, to something that's going down in value every single freaking day. And I have to work. I go to my job and I work whenever in reality, if I just buy back my time, I actually can retire early. or I actually can take a year off, or I actually can take months, days off. I can just leave, do whatever I want. You know what I mean? Freedom. That's the difference between net worth and earned income if you're in those situations. And so if you're young or older watching this, you got to start thinking a lot differently. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you keep. It's about your savings rate. It's not about the little stuff you get here and there. Yes, you should cut back on a lot of little things, but it's about those big, big expenses. It's about that debt. It's about that, all them big payments. That's a huge chunk of your money, of your income. Like, for real. And a lot of this just has to do with status. A lot of this just has to do with wanting to be a part of the pact of the social group. I've been in solitude, and it's just allowed me to not really care about what other people think, not really care about how people view me, not really care about any of that. And it just goes back to you. Money is behavioral. Money is a tool, right? Okay? And if you think money is just, you're gonna make you happy, or you think money is just gonna buy you endless amounts of stuff, okay, your happiness level is gonna go back to stagnation after a couple of days, after a couple of weeks. And you're gonna start you probably got a new phone, or you probably got a new technology device. After a couple of weeks, do you feel like it's new? No, that rumination goes away. For example, I went to a young boy concert, and I listened to this same song he played there. It was like I was there. I got goosebumps all over my body. Because it was in my ear, I was just like, oh my, memories, cognitive, emotional. I was like, bro, it was like I was there, and I was live, and I was just like, man, that feels great. Dopamine, it feels better to me, rather than just being in a super nice sports car who I can go fast for a little bit, but I'm losing money, I'm losing life force, I'm losing much more than what I'm gaining from it. I'm getting a little bit of experience from it, but it's taking away from my life force, because I have to put in hours, time, work, labor, back-breaking work, and all that things into that. And this is the difference between wealth and rich. You can be rich but still be poor. Like, seriously. And you can look poor but we wealthy as freak. Like, legit. And this is how, I think people, because I'm not in with the crowd anymore, and I can't explain and kind of argue with people, because they won't ever understand it. They won't ever understand it, because they're still stuck in the consumer trap. They're still stuck in the rat race trap. They're still stuck in that, because that's how they're brought up in society. A lot of things in our life is low-key backwards. Talking to women, you think you need to chase them down or try harder. No, you don't. You just gravitate towards the ones who actually like you for you, and you don't need to try so hard. But men, we're stubborn. We have a big ego, and we want to go after the ones who are the baddest. Whenever in reality, just go towards the one who actually like you a little bit more than you really like them. And because we're simple creatures, I think I can speak like that. We're simple creatures. At least I am. Some men are actually really complicated, but most of the time we're all simple. We just want peace and someone just to be there, Yeah, we're still looks all the way, right? Okay, this is gravitating, but still, a lot of things are backwards. You think having a lot of things on the outside, having a big house. You don't need a big house with 6 bedrooms, 5 baths, unless you have a big family, but still, you don't need that. You don't need a lot of things to survive, to live. We're not meant for all of this, for real. We weren't evolved in this way to live this long, but we've got to this point, but we're still wired to short-term think, and it'll take millions of years to evolve to long-term think. And that's why it's hard for people to save, and that's why it's hard for people to find margin in their income and see where they can cut back on. And I just want to break the spell, because if you think you're making like 40,000 a year, 30,000 a year, and you're barely making it or whatever, and you're like, you wish you could make 100K, you wish you could make 50, 70, 80, 90 grand a year. You're gonna say that once you get to that point anyway, because your lifestyle is gonna go up. You're gonna increase your lifestyle unconsciously, subconsciously. It happens because you think you're making more, you can just start affording more. When in reality, you need to stay where you're at. Slow down, don't rush. Be calm, be collected, save, stay where you're at, save even more, But don't just let it save, invest it. Invest all of it. Keep just that amount, and that's just how I think. That's how I think of money. You know, I've already went through and trying to see it. This is how I'm gonna become about it. And if you're young or whatever, wherever you are in your life, it don't really matter, because you can always change. You can always do whatever you want and flip your entire life around. No matter what, it's always possible. It's just always on you and whatever you want to do. So that's what I got. It's not how much you make a year, it's about what you can keep, what you can invest, and what you can put away for the future, even if it's a little amount. It's money is money. It's all the same. It's all a lot. It's all of your life force, and that's very important. That's what I got for you today. A little lesson to teach me, to teach you. That's it.